Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Carl Sawatsky on behalf of CTC Train Canada. I'd like to welcome all of you to today's webinar on 7 powerful features of OneNote 2016. So it's very excellent to have everybody with us today. Really good turnout, a lot of response to this webinar, and really an indicator of the interest that there is in OneNote and what it can do for us, what it can do for our daily working habits. I read somewhere someone described OneNote as the crown jewel of Microsoft Office. Now, whether that's true or not, I guess that can be a matter of opinion, but raises that question, is it? What can it do for me? What's in it for me? Well, if I were to fully exploit all of its features, how can that help me in my day-to-day work? Well, to help us answer those questions, we have with us today Louis Garcia. Louis has over 10 years of experience as a senior instructor and a courseware developer with us, teaching all things Microsoft Office as well as Adobe. So very well positioned to help us answer those questions and really get the most out of OneNote. How can we do so? And he has a lot of excellent prepared demonstrations to help us see that. Okay, so thank you everybody for joining us. And without further ado, I'll pass the word over to Louis. Louis, help us to learn about what OneNote can do for us.
All right, thank you, Carl. Welcome everybody. I'm going to keep these pretty short and sweet, and I'm going to get right to the point of what we can do, or what you can do with OneNote. These are the 7 powerful OneNote 2016 features we're going to go over today. Just how to insert video into a page. So it takes notes right on the web. How to send notes to yourself in email. Clip the web with Clipper, save and share files in the cloud, embed Excel spreadsheets and VCU diagrams, and how to share notes in meetings. So that's what we're going to go over today. The first thing we need to do will be insert a video. Now, let me toggle to OneNote quickly, and just before we start with this, just learn how to insert a video page. So I'm going to toggle this, a quick crash course into what is OneNote. I'm just going to make this a little bit larger. So I'm using OneNote right now in case someone has never used it or rarely used it. This is how it looks like. The interface is all purple. And the best way that I found out of how to explain what OneNote is with a graphic like this. OneNote, think about it as the file is a notebook. So it's that binder that you see there. You'll see me also, this circle, so that's not you. That's just me just pointing out, where I'm going to click or what I'm going to do. So you can see, OneNote is really the binder, and inside the binder you have, you have a bunch of tabs. Inside those tabs you add a lot of pages. Now in this case, this one seems quite big. The beauty of OneNote is that the page is endless. So if you were to print it, it wouldn't look something like that. That looks pretty messy. So here are my tabs, right? Here are my tabs over there, and inside my tabs, my pages. Now the pages are on the right side over here. These are things that you can customize where you want the pages to be on the right side or the left side, but I throw a few random tips sometimes. So, all right, so that's a 1-minute crash course into what is OneNote. So this is what it is, a digital version of this binder with tabs and pages. So let's move now to our 7 tips, or the 7 features we're going to go over in OneNote. Now, we're going to go over the first insert into a page. So over here, you'll notice on the right side, this is where I got all my pages. And just before I get into those, you can indent pages as well. So you can have a little bit of hierarchy going on. All right, I'm going to click once here on this insert video into a page. So here's my page, and so how do we insert a video? And I have this added just in case some of the audio cuts in or something. And some people are more visual, so that way you can maybe remember this. So in this case, it's on our insert tab. So whenever you hear the word tab, or if you read a manual or a blog or something, says the word tab, you always should look up because that's related to the ribbon on the top there. So I'm going to click on the insert tab, and that's where you have the option to add the online video. Now, so in this case, one of the things that we can do here, insert online video. All right. So let's just see. I have a sample here of what you can do in there when you insert a video from in OneNote. Now let me click on this link here that I have in on Microsoft Edge here. So I have this website here. I'm going to copy this link. So I toggle back to Microsoft Edge. I copy that link, and I'm just going to paste it. As soon as I press enter, and there we go. There's the link. And when it's active there, we can actually click the link. We'll open it up, and there's our video there. It's a very interesting thing of what OneNote can do in here, and this is a feature that you can turn off. As in, if I press the enter key here after I pasted a link, right? It might keep the link, or you can enable the feature to show the clippings in OneNote. You will find that in your options menu. If you go to your file options menu, that's where you'll find that. But this is just probably one of the quickest way that I know of how to insert just a video or a link to video in OneNote. Really, it doesn't play the video in OneNote, but you have the link to it. And again, I'm going to minimize, go back. You have the ability to show what that is, or just the link in there. You can edit your links as well, but that's just, it can be very useful to have. All right. Let's see. So I'm going to go back here to my 7 features in OneNote and then say, okay, you know what? Well, that's probably the easiest way how you can just insert that video in OneNote. Now, another thing that I can show is this. I'm going to go back here to my home tab. All right, so this is my checklist that I'm doing. OneNote is fantastic for checklists. So if you're a fan of these, you're going to like this. All right, I'm going to go now to my second page here. Take notes right on the web. Now, in order for this to work, you have to use Microsoft Edge, and that's the new browser. A lot of people, if you have Internet Explorer, then this is not going to work. So it has to be Microsoft Edge. And Microsoft is pushing now to use Edge now, and I imagine in a few years, again, I don't know, I imagine in a few years, we won't see Explorer anymore. So I'm going to toggle to Edge here, and I'm going to, click on this link here. I mean, who doesn't like cookies? And I'm just using a Wikipedia page, and I have cookies. Now, so this is Microsoft Edge that you're looking at. Now, over here, on the top right, this is what's called the hub, right? So I have my hub here, and then I have this tiny little icon there on the up right, and that's called Make a Web Note. Notice what happens when I click there. The whole thing turns purple. So, and this is just matching that same color that OneNote uses. The idea of making a web note is this. Let's say that you're looking at a website, and now I find a few things that I find interesting. I'm going to click here on the upper left here. I want to select my highlighter, click on that orange column, and say, well, you know what? I don't know. Like, there's something interesting about this website, or there's something interesting about the cookie, or there's something that's catching my attention. So I can use the pen. If I made a mistake and I say, well, you know, I didn't mean to do that, I have an eraser, and I can just, using my eraser here, I can just clear all my ink. And so the first one is really the pen, and I'll just do it again. Right? There we go. With your mouse, you can say, oh, that's a cookie. But let's say that you want to see something interesting on a website, and you want to highlight it. Well, that's why we have the second icon here. It looks a little bit thicker, kind of like a highlighter there. So I can just click there and say, yeah, you know what, I'm just going to keep it with yellow or maybe orange. I can see things better in orange. And now I can highlight that part of the text that I find interesting. So this is an add-on in Microsoft Edge that is related to OneNote, and it just allows you to do this, just quick notes. Now, all the things that you can do in here, let's say that you find something else you'd like to add context to. Well, I'm going to click there on this Add Note, and then click there once, and you can just add a little note there. Make it sure, or something like that. Whatever it is, and I can I can delete the note if I didn't like this, or I can add a second one. I can just say, like note 2 goes here. So this is nice that, that we can do this on the website. Now, the last icon over here, that we see on the left side, is our clipper. If I click on this clipper, it's telling me drag to copy region. So if I just click and drag, I say, well, this is kind of what I was looking for. All right, it's been copied. So I can go back to, I'm going to toggle back to my OneNote 2016, by the way. That's the one that I'm using. And I'm going to just click here, paste, and there we go. I'm going to expand this. And there's an image of that website that I took. Now let me just point something here. I'm going to go back to Edge one more time. So I have this area that I clipped there. Now I'm going to just just going to switch back to another tool here. There we go. And on the right side, you'll notice that you have two options. You can share your web note using OneNote, but when you do this OneNote will be the OneNote app. It's not OneNote 2016. That's a huge difference there. So it's going to try to send it to the OneNote app, not the desktop or the OneNote desktop 2016. And for example, if I click Save Note, in this case, I can save it in this OneNote app in here, or I can also save it on my favorites or as part of my reading list. Once I click Save, and then now it's going to be there on my reading list. If I click Exit, and I just want to check that, okay, let me see. So there's my reading list, and there's the note that I just created for today. So that's one thing to understand, that when you copy that, if you're going to copy information, paste it in your OneNote Desktop 2016, and if you click Save Note, it will be saving it on the OneNote app. All right? Okay. With that in mind, then some of you might say, well, but what if I really want to use OneNote 2016? Well, that takes us to our third point over here. Oh, by the way, whoops, a little bit disorganized. I'm going to click on my first note and say, yeah, we cover this, take notes right on the web. So and I'm going to jump this to this one. I'm going to skip to this one, to this clip the web with Clipper, since we're here. So why do you need to do that? I'm going to click on this movable type website here. Now, if you want to do that, like if you want to take a note and and send it to Clipper, this is what you need to do. I'm going to click on my OneNote file here. I'm just going to click on my fourth one here, since we were talking about Edge and the Clipper. This is an add-on to Microsoft Edge. You need to download it here, and I'm going to zoom in there. Whoops, I'm going to zoom in there a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. So this is what you need to do. You have to go to onenote.com/Clipper. And then I took a few screenshots here just to show you what you need to go over. In OneNote, this is where you get you have to click on Get OneNote with Clipper for Edge. All right, once you do that, once you click on that button, the next thing it's going to ask you is this. It's going to open up the Microsoft Store. Then you need to, once you install it and then you punch in your password and all of that, you hit that launch, and then it will tell you, hey, you know what, you have a new extension. Now, notice one thing about OneNote here. This page is endless, by the way. I'm just scrolling on this page, and I could have 1,000 screenshots and still would be in one page. That's one of the beauties of OneNote. All right, so it's going to tell us you have a new extension. This is what you can do with it. Yeah, turn it on. Once you do that, we're almost done with this. It will tell you, congratulations, OneNote Clipper is ready to use. And then, on your Edge, right there on your Microsoft Edge, on the right side of it, when you click on the ellipsis or the ... you'll see the clip to OneNote. And when you click that, when you turn it on, this is how it's going to look like. All right? Now, when you do that, let me show you how it is. Like, you'll have a few options. Let me zoom out again. All right. And by the way, just in case you're wondering how am I zooming in quick in and out, I'm pressing the Control key in my keyboard and using the scroll wheel. That's the fastest way that I know how to zoom in and out on any application. So there you go, another tip. Now, so once I have it on, this is how OneNote will look like over here. So I can do the full page, the article, or the bookmark. All right, so let me show you how it looks like before I demo it. Once I click on this movable type, right, this is the link that I chose there on Wikipedia. So if I select the first option, which is a full page, it's going to send it as a clipping. So this is really I cannot, this is a whole object, or its own wrapper. I'm just scrolling down and notice how it just goes on and on and on. So it really, Clipper just takes the whole information of the page. So that's even better than just taking, but this is a whole image on its own. Now, one of the things that I find amazing, since we're talking about tips, let me just give you one. There's also ways that you can search in every note over there. And if I click the one and I type something like, I don't know, something there's like cutting punches or something, or cutting. So it can actually search on your page there. So notice, even though this is an image, and I cannot highlight the text, it will actually find that in your image file. All right. I thought I would just add something extra in there. So that's the search over there, and the search can search on images and text. Okay. So the second option for Clipper. Over here on my second page. Oops, what's going on? Oh, you know what? That message in there, I think it just kind of like, so it's something in here with, there we go. That's very odd. Okay. I think that last message that just popped up, that's interesting that it happened. It just sort of, it's not allowing me to move to my other pages. All right, so let me see. So I'm going to move this over here. I might have to just, I'm going to have to close OneNote and just open it up again. All right, there we go. That's very interesting what happened in there. Okay, so I'm going to select the Clipper. On the second page, it will do this. So what happens with Clipper? Movable type is an article. Now this article, if you select the second option, it will be, you'll send it as an article. And it means it takes all of that and you can select the text in there if you want to. And if I move to my third one, the bookmark, it just gives you this little clipping. So let me demo it quickly here. So I'm going to select, move to my page here with Demo Clipper. I'm going to bring this back up. All right, so again, on the top right here, I'm going to click on the ellipsis. And there is my Clip to OneNote. Now, this one will talk to my OneNote desktop 2016. When I click on it, there you go, it opens up. Here are the three types of articles we just went over, the full page, which is just a big image of it, the article, which allows you to select just the text, it strips everything, just gives you the text, all the HTML markup there, or the bookmark, just a little link to it. Now, so if I select, I'm going to select the full page again one more time, and I'm going to say, hey, you know what, where do you want to send it? So this is the nice thing about OneNote. So I'm going to select, you know what, I'm just going to put it on my 7 tips. I'm going to say, go ahead and clip this as a full page. I can see it working there. All right, clip successful, view in OneNote. If you do that, it's trying to open up this in OneNote Online 2016, and it's just syncing right now. That's okay. I'm going to close this tab. I'm going to toggle back on the bottom here to OneNote. All right, thank you very much here. There we go. And it just it created a new page over here on the bottom, and there it is. So it immediately talked to my, I didn't have to copy and paste all of that. I just clipped it and just sent the whole information over there. Now, if I want to stay organized here, well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to click and just drag this so that it's right here on the section related to Clipper. So there we go. So again, I'm going to go back to OneNote, to Microsoft Edge, hit the ellipsis, click to OneNote, and again, this is the OneNote app that you have to download from the store. And if I want to select just the article, put it there, my 7 tips one more time, sure. Because this is my book that I have, and this is the name of the book, and these are the tabs over here. So yeah, put in my 7 tips and clip it. It's way faster than copying and pasting, and it just saves you a lot of time. So I want to say view OneNote. Oh yeah, right. Whenever I click that, it's going to try to do it online. Okay, sync faster this time. So if you have Office 365 and you don't have the OneNote desktop app, you can still use the OneNote online. I'm going to close this tab. I'm going to toggle back on the bottom here to my OneNote. And there it is. There's the second one. Now this time is the article. So that's how easy. And then I have the whole page. Look at that, with all of the images. And all of the hyperlinks do work. So this is really quite interesting. For example, if we click there, it opens up the link to the Yarn Dynasty. Very, very interesting. That just saves you a lot of time. So this is Clipper, and it's made very different from from just making notes right on the web. Okay, third tip, which is sending notes to yourself in email. So I have this page with a bunch of text, and I have a few symbols, and I'm saying, you know what, this is, it took me a while to create this note, type in this note, and now I just need to send an email to myself. I just need that. In order to do that, you want to be on the Home tab, and I'm going to mouse over here on the right side, and you'll notice that there's an email group right here. On this email group, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to select this email page, and look at what's going to happen. It talks to Outlook. So this is great. The integration between Outlook and OneNote it's actually fantastic. Because now all I got to do is just punch in my email address there, or whatever, whichever my account is that I'm using here, and then just send the notes, and I'm done. Or I can add more people in here. And here's the page. And here are all the notes in this page. Oh yes, I know. Thank you. So that's just how it works. That's how easy you can send notes to yourself in email. I'm going to close this. No, I don't need to save my changes. All right. Now let's see, or let's move to our next point, or our next tip in OneNote. This is one thing that I'd like to point out. Probably the most important step when creating a notebook in OneNote is think about whether it's going to be on your OneNote drive, or your OneDrive, or on SharePoint, or if it's going to be sitting on your intranet or your local desk. Once you have, let me explain why. It gets really tricky when you have to move a notebook from your desktop to SharePoint and OneDrive. And he might even tell you, hey, you know what, like you try to synchronize it, or it's even worse when you have OneDrive and you move it from OneDrive to SharePoint, or vice versa, or you move it to a different folder. If you have people that are working on that book, the link is broken, some of the information, it's just, it's just a bit messy. So pick a location and stick with it. That's just my tip, informal tip, not part of this one. So let me show you, okay, so how do you pick the location and it's on your OneDrive. Now, if you want to save and share files in the cloud, you have to use OneDrive, just like I have this in this screenshot. All right? So this is how it looks, and it's on the File tab and then Share. So I'm going to click on my File tab there, and we're going to go down to my Share section here. Click there once. Now, and I can see that this is in my OneDrive account. One good thing that you could do, and let me see if just going to bring File Explorer here just to show it. One thing that I strongly recommend using File Explorer, or if you have Windows 7, you can still do this with Windows Explorer, it used to be called before. And I can click on this OneDrive. So this is a link to my OneDrive, and I get to see all of my files in there. So this is how I know where I am right now. So if you're going to start, it's a good way to do this, just to sync your OneDrive to your desktop, and there's ways here to manage files and folders. And I get to see, everything that has a little check mark. Now, since we're here, let me just show you one more thing. This is how the OneNote looks like. The 7 tips is really a page or a section. Now, this section contains a lot of pages. The meeting notes, this is another section, or another tab, if you want to think about it. These two are tabs. And this is the one that opens the notebook. here's the other tab that I have called What is OneNote? That was the first one that you saw. So this is how the files look like. I get that question all the time, and I can see over here in my type, there it is, OneNote section, Microsoft OneNote table of contents. So this is the one that opens up all of these sections. So when you have to move everything, you have to move all of this. And it's kind of, so that's why I say pick one location, just stick with it. And if you're going to move, just follow the steps carefully. Microsoft guides you through how to do that. All right, let's get back to what I was showing you. So over here, all I need to do is this. Anytime domains or email addresses. Well, so if I'm sending an email to someone here, I can just say, category 10 or 2, whatever, whoever, I can, these are account names, but it could be many people. Now, over here on the right side, I have this option that can edit. And I can say, you know what, I want these people to view only or edit the book. When you allow people to edit, they can do a lot of things with it. One of the things about OneNote, you do have history versions that you can go and check. But, so just keep this in mind. Who's going to edit, who can view, right? And you can include a personal message there. You can also say, hey, you know what, I require user to sign in before accessing the document. This is a good fail-safe, like they have to have a valid Microsoft account in order for them to see it. And once I do that, all I got to do is share, and then it just sends a link to them. There we go. And now I can see who's been shared with these other people too. Oops. Now the nice thing about the integration with Outlook is when I'm also an icon here, I can send an email to this person. And if I have Skype for Business running right now, I can even send an instant message or phone call. Now in here, if I don't want this person to do, like I say, hey, you know what, I made a mistake. This account or this person should not do it. I can just right-click and select Remove User. Now that person is not there anymore. So very simple how you can share with people. But again, keep in mind that they have access to your OneDrive account, which is your personal. If it's on SharePoint, a lot of people, they have to be part of the team side, and then they'll be able to do it. All right, another way that you can share OneNote is also getting a sharing link. So this one is anyone with a view link can view this document. So this is great for people outside of the organization, and they can just go to it. And I can create a view link. Once you hit there, it's going to create this massive string. There you go. Pretty big. Or I can create an edit link. And all I have to do is just click on it, copy it, open up Outlook, send to people. There you go. So these are the two ways that you can share a notebook with anybody, as many people as you want, but just keep in mind what permissions you want to give them, right? Okay, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to click on this arrow, or I could press the escape key, and then that just sends me back over there. All right, so our next tip that we're going to go over, and this is an interesting one. So it's, well, actually, I'm getting another thing here. So yeah, we send notes to yourself. We clip the web, save and share files in the cloud. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to move to the next option or next tip here. Notice one thing about OneNote. When I click on the File tab, I don't see a Save button. You see that? And there's no Save As. OneNote updates instantaneously. So as soon as you touch and start typing, it's just saving constantly. So that's really nice about OneNote. Okay, I thought that's another question that I get most of the time. Where's the Save button? There's no Save button. It's just updated there. Okay, now our sixth tip here is how to embed Excel spreadsheets and Visio diagrams. So in Excel, we have 3 options, and in Visio, we only have 2. All right, so let's try here. I'm just going to click here once, anywhere on my white page, and I'm going to try that. So it's on my Insert Spreadsheet. Okay, I'm going to click on the Insert tab, Spreadsheet, and I'm going to select, well, I have 2 options. I can create a new Excel spreadsheet, but what if I have one and I just wanted to add it here so that everybody else that I'm working with, or all the people that I shared this notebook with, they have access to the same document. That way, I don't have to create an email and attach the spreadsheet and send it, and then having to send updated versions of that. This way, everybody has access to that file. So I'm going to select this first option. Okay, I'm going to select this first file that I have here. I'm going to click, all right, just kind of an insert. And there's that little dialog box that I took a screenshot of. Yeah, so now if I select attach file, that's it. It's just, there's a little link there, but now the file is attached to this notebook. So anybody else in my team that has access to OneNote now can open up this book, and I didn't have to really send a lot of emails. Now, if anybody else wants to edit it, they just have to double click on it. You're going to get the open attachment to have your computer. Yeah, we know that. It's going to open up Excel, and there we go, and there it is. I'm just going to make a quick change here just to see. To turn that yellow, save it, Control S, and I'm going to close Excel. All right, let's see. So if I double click on it again on this icon, yeah. You know what? I'm going to click don't show this again. Okay. And there it is. And this is linked to my OneDrive. If you notice, when I click on this insert spreadsheet, this is taking me to my path here. It's just using my OneDrive. And I can see that it has a little check mark. So that's a good thing that I was pointing out to you before. So now you're like, oh, that's OneDrive, yes. So that's pretty interesting. All right, I'm going to click cancel here. Let's do the other option then. So if I click on this insert spreadsheet, existing Excel spreadsheet, I'm going to select this the second one, the top 30 NHL players. It's not an updated file, it's a pretty old file, just keep that in mind. And I'm going to select now the second option. Well, what happens if I just want to see this insert spreadsheet? It's going to take a little bit of time there. Boom. And then it just uploads all of the, there's the top 30 all-time NHL players, and all of the stats. And then I have a link to the file, but I can actually see the spreadsheet. And if I click on this edit button, all right, there we go. And there's my document open, so I can just select columns, turn yellow, save, close, and there it is. There it is updated right there on my OneNote. So this is fantastic. Again, it just saves you from having to update a file and then email it to everybody else. It's just everybody's working the same document, in OneNote. So that's another question that I get all the time. Well, what is really OneNote? It's a notebook, and you have tabs and pages. But OneNote is fantastic for collaboration and for content gathering and documentation. And if after this, when you think, okay, we're ready to create the final file, well then you can now take it outside of OneNote and just work on it so that nobody else is working on it. But you have a file that many people worked on. So it's a fantastic content gathering and collaboration tool. All right, now the last option here, I'm just going to minimize my spreadsheet here. It's too big. There we go. Let's make it a little bigger. Let's just click the other option there. So what happens then if I select, I'm going to select now, select the last file there, and this one has a chart. So I'm going to select insert chart table. And what's interesting is OneNote will find, hey, you know what, inside the spreadsheet, there's this chart. We found a chart in there, and I named that in my tab sheet. So I click OK. So this one is the top NHL enforcers of all time. So there's Del Hunter, Ty Domi, Dave Williams, Victoria, all right. And there you go. So now this file, let's see how this file looks like. So I'm going to click on Edit. And I'm waiting. I just click there once, and there's my chart. There's the name of the tab sheet, top 5 PIMs, and there's my chart. If I want to change something here, say that, I'm just going to change to that look, for example. I'm going to click Save, and I'm going to close this. I guess it's taking time to refresh there. There we go. So now that it has been refreshed, so that's pretty good. And everybody else in the team gets to see the file and the charts without having to opening and closing all of it. All right. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to minimize this. I'm going to make it really tiny here. All right. Well, I'm just going to move it so I can show the VCU stuff over here. All right. So related to VCU, it's the exact same process. Well, I want to insert a diagram, existing VCO diagram. Now, the nice thing is that it's pointing to my same location in my OneDrive. Now, I'm just going to select property template, and I click insert. I'm going to select attach file there. And there it is. So if you see an icon, that's just the file that is attached. And when you mouse over it, it will give you the location of where that is in there. So if I double click there, click OK, now I should kick in with VCO, and then I get to see my file. I'm going to close VCO now. Last option that we have in there. What if I have a diagram? All right, and you want to show a diagram to everybody who gets in there. All right, so I'm going to select my workflow VCO there. I'm going to select insert diagram, and I'm just going to wait, and there we go. So there's my workflow VCO. And look at what it's doing also to my content in OneNote down. Here I have my other Excel. And notice how the page just instantly expands. And that's another really nice thing about OneNote. I don't have to worry too much about how long it is. You'll just do it. Or like Word, where you have to create the spaces and you have to set the layout. No, I don't have to worry about it here. And there you go. There it is. This is my, I don't know what this means. I don't know how to make the file. If you figure it out, let me know. But I was just playing around, build a workflow, done. So that's the other feature that we can do in OneNote. Now, last thing, I'm going to select here my to-do, is how to share notes in meetings. So that's our last one over here. Now, I'm going to zoom in here, pressing my control key and using the scroll wheel. All right, not too much. So let's just kind of route the steps before we go through them. So number one, in Outlook, you can create a meeting. Now, look at this. Whenever you create a meeting, you'll see the OneNote icon there. There's a purple icon. All right, and I call this wrap up, TBA. All right. Now, what I strongly recommend, if you're going to take notes, so why is this important? Let's say you're going to have a meeting, and you're going to have OneNote, and you want to, as the meeting progresses, someone is writing notes in a OneNote page. What I strongly recommend is make sure you create a tab that matches the name of the meeting. It's just a good one to do. Now, when you do that, all you got to do is either to link the notes to the meeting, you can either in Outlook open the meeting and click Meeting Notes, or in OneNote click the meeting details and pick the date and insert it in the page. Now, this is what you'll see, and then finally click the page and hit the email page button. And let's see how this works. All right. So I'm going to click here on this meeting notes over here. Or actually, you know what? I'm going to open up Outlook. So I have this meeting notes tab, and I have this is the one that I was displaying. Notice how the one that I linked to already, it has the meeting subject, the date, I made it in July, TBA, and all the people in it. Look at what happens too. Remember that email page button? If I hit this email page, it will take the information, because I linked it, over here. And all I have to do once my notes are done is just press send. And literally, when the meeting is done, if you hit that button, you click send, people will be getting an email with the notes before they left the boardroom. And it's fantastic to see the faces of like, oh, that was extremely fast. Well, that's how you do it. Just OneNote and Outlook, they talk to each other fantastically. So let me close this. I don't want to save my changes. I'm going to click my Outlook here. I'm going to click here on my calendar. And let's say that I want to make a meeting. Oh, wait a second. I'm going to create a new page over here. I'm going to add a page here. And I'm going to call this, closing statements. All right. Okay, so now that I have that, now over here in Outlook, I'm going to create a quick meeting here. I'm going to invite a few people. So I'm going to add the same categories here, 9, 10, location, TBA, and I'm going to match this, just because it's just easier for me to find closest statement. And then they're going to be here. It's not an all day. Today, tomorrow from 8 to 8:30. Sure. All right. So once I hit this meeting notes, share notes with the meeting. And then it's asking me, okay, well, you're going to pick one. So it's on my notebook, and it's under these meeting notes. Oh, right, it's closing statements. Now you can see why it's easier to create a tab, that matches, what the name of the subject of the meeting or what the meeting is about. I click OK. All right, so now it's been linked. Now I'm going to close this. Oh yeah, right. I have to send it to all of these people. So there it is. I'm going to go back to OneNote here, and I have my closing statements. Look at that. When I created this a minute ago, it didn't have all of this information, but I linked it from Outlook to OneNote. And another thing that I could do is this. What if I forget to do that? Okay, I'm going to create another meeting, let's say on the 29th. And so let's just click a quick meeting there. New meeting. I'm going to call this launch. Some of you probably, it's very odd that the keyboard is working. Interesting. All right. Something going on in here. So I'm going to close OneNote here. Just having all of these applications open and recording the video. Yeah, that's probably one. So my keyboard stopped working there. That's interesting. Oh, look at that. All right. Okay, yeah, it's very acting up. But anyway, so in here, so what I can do is this. I can go into my closing statements, and on my home page, I can say, hey, you know what? Email page. And look at that. There it is. I go back. I'm going to say no. I'm going to go back here to my closing statements. And another thing that I could do in OneNote is this. I can click on these meeting details, and I can choose a meeting from another day. You know what? I'm going to close Outlook. Just open it up again. I'm not holding down the control key. Do you want to start looks in save mode? Yeah, sure. I wasn't holding down the control key. Very odd. Okay. There we go. All right, so we can demo this. Finally, there we go. I thought I was holding down the control key. All right. Say launch. Okay. I'll call that launch. It should save and close. Good. There it is. It's on the 29th. I'm going to have launch for some reason, 8 a.m. 8, don't judge me. And I'm going to click here. All right. I'm going to click on my closing statements. I'm going to click on add a page. I'm going to call this launch. So now what I want to do is this. I want to link from OneNote to Outlook. I'm going to hit this meeting details button on the home page. And I can see, hey, this is the one that we have right now. But I'm going to mouse over here and choose a meeting from another day. All right, well, I'm going to hit my calendar. That was on Monday, the 29th. Oh, there it is. You know what? Enter the details from there. And there you go. And now at the end, once you have your meeting going on, all you need to do is open up OneNote, and then you can start adding your notes. Add 1, 2, whatever is happening in there. Let's say that out of there you have to do a to-do list. Well, if I hit this to-do and say, get supplies, and I press enter, delete supplies. So I can do that, and as soon as I hit this email page, everybody inside that meeting gets the notes right away with also the little tasks of what they have to do. So it's fantastic the way that they talk to each other. Now I'm going to close it, and it's there's the 12:45 mark right there on the 45 minutes that we said it was going to do. Cool. I'm going to go back here to my 7 tips, and I just want to make sure that, hey, guess what? Just share notes in meetings. Like I said, it's a fantastic way of how it talks between Outlook and OneNote, and I think that's pretty much it for what we can do between Outlook and OneNote. I'm going to close Outlook here. All right, so I'm going to go back here to my 7 tips, and I'm going to turn it over to you, Carl, or to anybody else if there's any questions or something.
Yeah, thank you very much, Louis. That was excellent. And we had, well, we do have quite a few questions, so I will start working my way through those. Probably about, so far, maybe at least 7 or 8 questions, I guess.
Okay.
And so the first ones were related to Clipper. And I'm just scrolling through there. So if we go back.
So I'm going to select my Clipper section here.
Yeah, so first off, an easy question. Will the OneNote Clipper work with earlier versions of OneNote? For example, if someone's using OneNote 2010. Linda had that question.
That is a great question. I have it personally. That is a really good question. In my experience, what I can tell you is, like, I don't know specifically about Clipper, but whenever I have multiple notebooks in my OneDrive, and I can open them in my phone. I can open them on a Mac that's using OneNote for Mac, and I can open it in a desktop that's using OneNote 2016, and I have never seen any issues with that. So 2 different versions, 2 different computers, 3 different modes, like one's a phone, a Mac, and a PC, and I've never seen any issue. But with Clipper, I don't know. But I've never seen any issues with other versions with OneNote.
Okay, good. And also with regards Clipper, so if web content that you've clipped then gets updated, do the clips get updated as well? So if the content that you've clipped from using Clipper to your OneNote, if that web content gets updated with time, you know, the webmaster.
Oh, I see. No, that would be really cool, but no, it doesn't. Like once it just takes a note of that precise moment, and it goes into OneNote. That's actually a very good question. That means that if you have a website that is constantly being updated, there maybe what you want to do is add it into your reading list or your favorites and check it, and then take another note of that and add another page. That's a great question. Yeah,
good. Okay, thank you. Also, can you print from OneNote?
Yes.
You can? Okay.
On the File tab, if you go down to Print, and there's a print, and you can print the whole thing. Now, one thing that I recommend is this. I'm going to click Cancel here. Yes, you can print it, but also you can export it, and here's the trick. You can export the whole page, or just a section, or the entire notebook. When you select any of these, notice how you have the option as a PDF. And I hit this Export button. I'm just going to save it on my desktop here. Sure, that's fine. All right, click Save. So you can select either a whole notebook, a section, or a page. And I'm just now going to open up my File Explorer here. Right, and then let's select the desktop. There it is, Share. So I'm going to click and then open it up with Adobe Reader. And there it is.
Okay, good.
And look at that.
Thanks for demonstrating that. Excellent. When it came to the meeting notes, Andre was asking, he said, I presume all participants should have access to the same location where the OneNote is saved in order to read the minutes?
Okay, can you repeat the question again, Carl? Let me think about it.
So he said, for sharing meeting notes, I presume all participants should have access to the same location where the OneNote is saved in order to read the minutes.
See, that's okay. I see. That's a great point. Whenever I create a meeting note, I'm going to go this like planning. I haven't invited people. People don't have the Calgary 12, Calgary 10, Calgary 9. If I haven't given them permission to work here, they don't have access to my notebook. What's happening is, if they're participants in the meeting, and I'm linking the meeting to OneNote. When those people leave the room, I can send them the notes right away that I wrote, like the ones that I was working here. Or the closing statements. As soon as I hit Email Page, if the participants, oops, let me move this here. The participants get the notes, but they do not have access to my OneNote book. I would have to share that with them so they have access to it.
Okay, good. And can you, with regards meetings, can you run reports that would show who the participants were on any given meeting? Let's say you want to go back over the last few months, your weekly meetings, who was present at each meeting. Can you run reports on that?
Some run reports on that. What it shows is whenever you link between Outlook and OneNote, whenever the notebook is linked to a meeting, as if you have a lot of participants, they will be documented here. So you will have a whole list like this instead of account names. Think about it like Joe Smith, James Smith, and so on. So you'll have the whole list of people in there. So there is a record of who was in that meeting, whereas running a report, that's just trying to figure that out. Running a report, I don't think you can run a report, but you have documentation of who was in the meeting and at what time.
Right, so you can't go in and view that.
Well, yes, in your notes, as long as you keep a tab, I mean, you're organized with your notes. So you say, you know what, who was in that research meeting? Oh, yeah, it was just 3 people. Oops, it was just 3 people over here. Or who was in the wrap-ups research? Oh, it was these people. Or, for example, I'm going to open up Outlook. And I'm going to click on my calendar here. That took a while. There we go. And I'm going to select here, I'm going to go to June, July. And if I click here, let's say I can go in Outlook too, and then see who was in here. And then see, okay, what were the meeting notes? And there we go. It just takes me to that exact tab that I was just on. Because they're linked. So the meeting is linked to a OneNote page. And everything, whoever attended or whoever was invited is present there. See that?
Excellent. Okay, thank you. David asked if there's a way to move your notes and notebooks from Evernote to OneNote.
Oh, I don't know. That's a great question. That's a fantastic question. And you know what? Here's the reason why I don't know. Because it's like, whoa. I've been using OneNote for many years, and I tried Evernote, and I just couldn't get into it. So I stuck with OneNote. OneNote has been, it's a product that's been out for 13 years. I think it's in version 2003. So that I don't know. That's one thing that I would encourage just to search. I don't know if the file type's the same, but what I would do is you can open up your Evernote, select copy your notes. Do a select all, copy, open a OneNote book, and then paste.
Okay.
Kind of the same if you had a text file, in a WordPad. I know you can insert that, but worst case scenario, you can always select, copy, and paste, and then it's all updated.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Well, and if we find out any more information, I noted David, his name there. We can always forward that along.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yes, because
also, one question. So you mentioned how obviously your content gets saved to the cloud as you go along. What about on your actual PC or on your LAN folder? Does it get saved there as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing. It's just there's no save button, and I know it's really weird when you don't see a save button. And
yeah,
it's a very odd feeling, I have to say. But yes, let me see. I think I had an example there. I'm going to close this file. So it's a file. I'm going to close this book, and if I remember correctly here. On my desktop, I think I had a notebook here, an old, yeah, I had okay, so I'm just opening one now from, okay, notebook. All right. I guess when I did the sync, but yes, it will save. I just don't know why it's not talking to each other right now. Okay, but yeah, no, because I've built this one in desktop, and then I moved this to my OneDrive. So yes, I know that you can. There we go. So this is from my desktop that I'm using here. As you can see, there's no save button, but it will update as soon as you touch it. It will just update. So if I click something here, let's say, and select this and highlight as yellow, I'm going to close OneNote. I'm going to open up now OneNote, and there it is. And I didn't press Control S or save. And this is from my desktop.
Excellent. One other question. There's actually two more, I think, and then that should cover it all. Sheila was wondering if you can have more than one notebook book going. So maybe you want one for your own, manage your own personal life, your family business, and then you have one for your work and your work business as well.
Yes, you can, and the way to manage them, let me see, I'm going to create a new one here. Okay, wait. I'm not sure, no. So I have this new book going on here. It's a completely new book. If I want to manage more, I want to click on my File tab, and then I see here's my open books. And the trick is to click on View Notebook, and that way you toggle back. That's the odd thing about OneNote. You cannot have multiple windows of the book. You have to toggle between notebooks. So you have to do this like File, and then just go back to my new book, File tab, and then go back to the other one. So yes, you can have multiple notebooks. You just have to toggle between them.
Okay, great. And I guess last but not least, Scarlett was wondering if there's an audio function for meeting in OneNote.
And actually, thank you, Scarlett. That's a good reminder about that. I'm going to minimize this so I have my meeting notes here. Now, one of the things that you can do is you can click on Insert, and you'll notice that there's this record audio. You see that? And it's on the Insert tab. So this note, it's already linked it to Outlook. And again, you could do that by just clicking on the Home tab, Meeting Details, and then select the meeting, and then it creates a link. Or just from Outlook, and clicking on that, clicking on this Meeting Notes, just so that it. Okay, so I'm going to minimize this. Going to go back to that. So once you create the link, one thing that you can do is this: on the Insert tab, record audio, and it will instantly start recording everything that we're just talking right now. And I can see the counter over there. See that? 06, 07, 08, 09. Good. Stop. Now, in this case, and I'm going to play again. It's going to be weird. All right. So there's the recorded meeting there, tied to my OneNote. So this means that if you choose to send this email, or if you want to share this with people, as soon as you hit this email page, it will add, the audio recording in it, along with the notes. The budget's going to be 10,000 or whatever it is that you added. Now, another thing, since you brought this over, Scarlett, and I think you guys are getting way more than 7 tips, by the way. we should have changed that to plenty, a lot of tips. Yeah. Yes. So once you do this, right, and then you email it to people, then they get it, and yeah, it's a WMA file. So now I'm going to close this, and I'm going to send it. OneNote, what if you need to search something in there? And in order to do that, you want to go to your File tab, go to your Options over here. And OneNote, it's under Audio and Video. And this is called, so File tab, Options, and you want to select the Audio and Video category. And you want to enable searching audio and video recordings for words. That means when I search something in here, it's also going to search within my audio files or my video recordings, and it will start playing from that point. Now, the one thing you should keep in mind is it uses a lot of RAM. So make sure that if you were searching for something, when you're done searching for something, just turn it off. you have to go back and then just turn it off. Because otherwise, it uses a lot of RAM. Every time you search, it's just, So this is a fantastic thing that you can do in OneNote. It works for video and audio.
Okay, good. So yeah, that was tip number 9.5, I think. That's great, Louis. Thank you. Tina was wondering about if the audio can be converted into written notes. So I'm assuming she might be talking about a voice recognition function, similar to how YouTube can convert a video into a transcript.
Yes, I don't know. That's a really good question. We can get back to you, but
that one we can research that one.
I don't remember seeing that here. One thing that OneNote can do is I don't know with audio. What I know it can do is this. If I click on my Draw tab, it can do image to text. So let's say draw, and then I'm going to use this thing here, and then I'm going to try to attempt to write hello with the mouse. It's really hard. So one other thing I can do is this. Use my lasso select this area, and I can right-click and select ink to text. Oh, that's interesting. It should be working.
Yeah.
So the idea is that I'm not sure why it's not on right now. That's the thing of using different machines you're not used to. But yeah, that's the first time I've never seen it not working.
Okay.
But OneNote allows you to do. Okay, let me try this one more time. Select this whole thing. Oops. Lasso. I'm going to select the large area. Yeah. Okay, but you can do ink to text. Not sure why not. Yeah, it's always worked. But yeah, with audio, I'm not sure. So yeah, we'd have to research. But I don't remember seeing anything like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can reset that. I think
great
our time has pretty much elapsed, so we unfortunately can't take any more questions. I've input a couple of things into the chat box. First off, thank you, Louis. That was awesome. Everyone really appreciated that. Thank you, everybody, for joining and your questions. If you're looking to learn a little bit more, we have OneNote one-day OneNote courses on versions 2010, 2013, 2016, and I input a link there where you can learn a bit more about those courses. We have a lot of upcoming guaranteed to run dates, so you can look at those. And also, we do have another webinar coming up in about a month's time, June 22nd, and that's dealing with some advanced functions of Excel formulas. And so the link is there as well. You can click on that and sign up for that upcoming webinar. So again, everybody, thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you on an upcoming course or one of our next webinars. Thank you very much. Have a good rest of the day, everybody.